What a great night. What a great night. I want to make sure when I pause it, I don't want it to make me quieter. Anybody else love music as much as I do? I love music. I I definitely makes I think I work out harder. Yeah, I go to the gym like most mornings and I work out harder if I have the right music. Is anybody else like that? Yes. Miss Hayes said music is my life. Everybody dance. Yay. Right? Isn't it true? I mean, think about in the time of your life where you were like just dancing and having a good time. I remember when I used to go out and I never drank, never have drank, so I would go out and basically just be getting a whole bunch of exercise. I would outdance anybody. Somebody asked me to dance, they better be in it for the long haul because it's going on. I know a many a time that he's been like, okay, like, thank you. All right. do, do you need so look and then when you know you really grown, when you go to dance and you just go to the dance floor. Now, if I go somewhere and I love the music and I want to dance, I am dancing. And do you know how they say dance like nobody is watching or so I don't care if anybody's watching. when you work hard, when you work hard, and I can't. One thing I can't relate to is when people say, "Oh, let me get a few drinks," then and then they can, enjoy. That I don't need it. So I've been accused a lot of times of being intoxicated, either by that, and I am. I'm intoxicated by just the love of people and the love of life and the love of God and the love of music. It's just so much to love. So true today. It's just we have so much to be excited about. So I'm excited about just having this time that we have together. It's a blessing. Thank you for sharing your Wednesday night. This is Afro Economics Live, and I'm JB Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer of JB Bryan Financial Group, a firm I started in 1995 and the home of Afro Economics, based on 10 strong principles of Afro Economics. Legacy all the way to Black health and Black wealth. I really never share the book, but thank you for the excitement. Don't forget to empower your family. Over the holidays, the shipping is free if you go to the bookstore at afroeconomics.com. You get free shipping, even though we get a lot of orders from that mega website. I always go, wow, I wish they knew the website is free, but that the shipping is free at the website and it's a great gift idea. I got a purchase of one workbook and four books. And I was like, I guess they're planning for the holidays or a group party or something. But this is something, Ms. Richardson, for us all to celebrate financial empowerment. And it's all about you. And it includes the Adinkra symbols. That's the Adinkra symbol for Afro economics. You'll see the morning star and the wheel of transformation. Yes. I was just talking to a young brother today, and he was born the year that I started the firm. And I was like, I should do some sort of campaign that the first 25 people that were born in 1995, that we have like you get a month free membership. And that because it's amazing to me that I'm to have this opportunity to be able to impacting lives for this long. But I definitely, yes indeed. Aruka girl. Look, I don't know you. I don't know you. Look, you're in a safe environment. You can give me your real name. Yes, indeed, it is. Oh, okay. This is Leslie from Brooklyn. Yes, indeed. The book is available in audio form. What would it be? What would a world be if JB Bryan didn't go into the studio and record this book in her own voice? I mean, that would be such a tragedy, right? How you doing, Mr. Jenkins? Thank you very much for your t-shirt and book order. Representing. I appreciate that. But yes, it is an audio form. And the I know how to send the audio to people that have membership, that I can send it to you. But other than that, the way to get it is from Audible, and you can use it as your free one that you get when you sign up for Audible. They'll give it to you free. So that's one way to get to get it for free is sign up for Audible and you can get it free, or sign up for AfroEconomics. And around the holidays, I'm sure I'll be sending out the Audible to members for free again. But the but yes, yes, and yes, it is available on Audible. Tonight's topic. How about tonight's topic about housing, about gentrification, about affordability? There's just so much about today's topic that it's amazing to me. I'm trying to I want to um I want to make sure that I share with you. um I actually found the Harvard study that was used to create the picture that was in the promotion for tonight's event. Yep. one one key advantage to going back and working on my PhD, or not going back, but going forward and working on my PhD. I don't know why we call it going back, because I never did that before. So going forward is that I have learned to research. It's getting me better and better. So there's something good that comes out of the majority of the pains, the challenges that we go through in life. They make us stronger. We can make them into something more powerful. I'm going to share with you. I want you to take a look at this on housing America's older adults, a study done in 2019. So that's where the bulk of what we're going to talk about has come from. And that's what sparked CNBC to do an article on that your house is aging along with you. You're not the only one. You purchase a house, say almost 40, you purchase the house, and 20 years later, what starts happening? What starts happening? Like 20 years later, some major expenses start happening. And that's assuming that the house was new or they did work, and they got everything straight for you when you bought it. It could have been 20 years old at the point that you actually purchased it. But look at this. This is so woo. Yeah, things start breaking down. And if y'all don't mind, I would appreciate. I want to like make sure. I want to open up the microphones. And I'm just gonna like um open up in the order that I can, because we have like over 50 people up in here. So I'm not going to I can't do all of them, but I'm gonna do quite a few. And I want y'all to, when as we're going through this, I want to show you something. And especially y'all grown folk, I really want you to participate. And um those of you who are in your 60s, when I show you some stuff, you're going to be amazed at some of these things. But when I open up these microphones, I expect you to open up your microphone, to unmute. So somebody say hello to me.
Hello.
There you go.
Yes.
Hey,
There you go. There
Jenny.
you go.
Hello,
There
Miss
you go.
Marion.
Hello.
Thank you. Don't y'all
Hello,
like,
hello.
Hello.
don't y'all like, I see Mr. Thomas, and he's all about the rental real estate. And you know what? This is still not most of what I'm thinking.
Hello.
Most how you doing? Most of what I'm thinking about is I'm thinking about the house that you're living in. I'm not really thinking about the fact that you probably purchased other properties during your career also. So both of them are aging along with you. So the key, and I have found this to be true, and I'm just going to cut to it. And like, if you're in a rush and you have to get off the phone, you don't have to go much longer past this one sentence that I'm going to make. The key to success for home ownership is at the time of purchase. What do I mean? Who wants to elaborate on what I mean? The key to successful home ownership is at the time of purchase.
Mhm.
What are you gonna say, Miss Hayes?
Um, you're I feel. Um, I agree with you. So, in other words, to me, you got to get well, I don't know. You got to get a good deal, but that doesn't mean that you can't get a better deal later on if you need to refinance or whatever. But I know that the older your home is, it may not be insurable. And I know that you have to have certain things upgraded after a certain period, or it will not be insurable.
Mm,
Um, and so those are things that can add stress
mm.
to
But
you
that's
as
what
a
you
homeowner.
would see. What I'm saying is that you what how you benefit from your home purchase. It all matters is what you do at the beginning. Is because if you pay too much for your home at the beginning,
Right, right.
you can never make that up.
Okay, fair.
You can never make that up. Like, and if you buy too much house, you can never make that up.
Mm,
So if you take 50% of your income and use it to for your home mortgage, then what happens to the rest of your money? What happens? 50% of your pre-tax income, somehow you are approved for a mortgage for that. What happens? You can't do anything else
that's right. Yeah.
because you certainly you're giving the leftovers to your retirement plan and saving for the future. You're giving your leftovers to your emergency account. You're giving your leftovers to anything that you want to try to save for college for the kids and everything. You know, and it can make a huge difference on your standard of living in that as you age. In that Harvard study, it found that homeowners had more wealth as they aged than renters. But that's not phenomenal to me. That's not amazing to me because most of the people that buy the homes generally have more money. But what it tells me is that renters don't invest enough money because the investment market has extremely outperformed residential real estate. So if every renter was taking the money that they were saving by being a renter, they don't have the maintenance expense. They don't have, many people with renting they don't have to fix the refrigerator when it breaks. They don't have to fix the water heater. They don't have to fix the roof. They don't have to. So what could they be doing with all that money?
Mm,
Investing it.
mm, mm,
That's right, Ms. Howard. And what do they usually do? What happened? Well, according to the Harvard study, the renters, even the highest paid renters, are not investing their money in anything,
mm.
the majority.
Yep,
So the
that's true.
problem is not like we immediately, if you looked at that study, you immediately would say, oh my God, everybody should buy a house. When if you look at the fine print on the study, it says that about a third, one third of the wealth is coming from home equity. 1/3 of the wealth of the wealthiest homeowners came from home equity. So it wasn't the house that made them rich. It was everything else they did. The business, the stock market, the lack of debt, right? Right. So it was their financial moves away from the house that actually made them that wealthy. So you go, oh, you look at it, you go, wow, homeowners, they got so much more wealth. But then you have to break down the numbers. If you read long enough, you'll see it's always more than what you see. Like there's always more in there for us to get. Now, I'm gonna show y'all something also on this. I want to share. Look at this. Now, this was pre-COVID. Debt among oldest Americans skyrockets. Rockets. You see how much that is? 543% in 20 years. Total debt for Americans over age 70 increased 534% from
Oh,
1999 to 2019, the largest percentage increase for any age group. 70. How are they going to pay for their roof?
what is the debt coming from?
They're disproportionately harmed by deterioration, and they're saying, and pensions really, but a modest social safety net. Like, and I'm like, what in the world? A modest social safety net. So the country's modest social safety net, that's social security.
Mm-hmm.
Carrying debt in retirement isn't necessarily bad, right? And we know that if you have enough cash flow to pay for the bills
Mhm.
and still live well. I mean, true. As long as you got the income, the debt doesn't matter. But they seeing these go up. Look at what is it in, as Ms. Hayes asked. Well, it says debt among Americans on the, this is just the age brackets, and this is where it's just saying that those in their 70s is where it went up the most,
Is
and
it health
the
care?
other age groups. But it's still a lot though. It's down here. I see it. There's
Yeah,
another
it's got
graphic.
to be, must be health care cost.
Debt by product type. So, oh no, it's not even healthcare. And that's something that would be expenses, but like this is just a little bit credit card. A lot, most of it's mortgage.
Wow.
More of them are retiring still with the mortgage balance, especially now. Almost everybody's trying to refinance.
Mm.
So and that doesn't have to always be a problem, but I really am thankful for God using me to be able to help our members that are seniors and look through these deals, because some of the deals I'm seeing are horrible.
Mm.
And I really, appreciate it, because, they're like trying to get seniors to pay for the interest rate, giving them like these attractive
Mm.
rates, and then they're actually taking their equity to get the rate.
Mm.
It's you have to be really careful, really careful. And then but see the blue, it's mostly mortgage, like this 40 to 49 is when the mortgage is real big. Look, even some student loan in the 70 plus. It's like, there's like quite a bit in the student loan. And and look at this 60 student loans, bigger, but still existing throughout life. Mm. And so, and the, but this is an interesting article, but look, refinancing all of the credit card, look at this credit card debt. So use home equity lines and mortgages. No, there's almost like, the I've seen so many statistics that, it gets like, harder and harder. So I'm gonna go back to my notes on the key things that I wanted to make sure that I share. All right. So I have, given the high home ownership rates, most older adults live in single family homes. Of the 24 million, this is from that Harvard study, of the 24 million homeowners aged 65 and over, fully 80% lived in detached single family units as of 2017. The majority of these homes are now at least 40 years old and therefore may present maintenance challenges for their owners. Isn't that something? All this research is out there. So you might run into questions like one member asked me today, like, should I pay extra principal payments? And then I was saying like that it would be great to get to retirement with zero as a mortgage. But once you're in retirement, and you're not actively creating any income anymore, that I think you have to be very conscious of the importance of liquidity. And I was telling one member today, I was like, I want to make sure that I increase the amount of cash that you have access to. So if you keep putting extra principal payments on the rental property, then I know that it might get paid off quicker, but the only way to get that money out is to sell it or refinance it. So, as even though, like, every rule that you've ever heard when it comes to money is never this is the rule. It's always, the answer is always, it depends. It depends. Because you see what I'm saying? Like that might be a goal for somebody in their 40 and 50s, extra principal payments, blah, blah, blah. They're trying to, do it because they're working 2, 3 jobs and da 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 da, but that might, not be the smartest move if you're, a senior and you don't have a considerable amount of liquidity or assets available to you for you to use for your lifestyle. So, and then there's also in the study, it said increases in cost burden households from 2016 to 2017. The number of cost burden households age 65 and over, that means they're paying more than 30% of their income for housing, grew by more than 200,000 to a new high of nearly 20 million people, that seniors that are house burdened. Some 5 million of these households were severely burdened, paying over half of their income for housing. But isn't it something when you think about this, that that's how a whole bunch of people that we know live? And we don't have the slightest idea that that means that you're house burdened or rent burdened. Am I making sense to you? Like, you're not supposed to have, be paying more than 30% of your income towards housing. And that's when they say that there's an affordable housing crisis. There is, because you'll see that if you, as a rule of thumb, you're supposed to spend about what times your income on your home purchase, as a rule of thumb. How many times your income for a house? What you think? You're like, I don't know. How many times your income do you think that you should spend on a house, on a house, on a household? I'm gonna ask Mr. Joe, because I know Mr. Joe will come through. How much you think, Mr. Joe? How many times your income do you think is a good rule of thumb? Mr. Jenkins, okay. How many times your income? I don't know how to. Let
Eight
me see. I'm
times.
gonna try to open up your. How many times your income, Mr. Jenkins? So if you make, say, 60,000 a year, what should the house that what should be the maximum house that they should buy?
180,000.
Dr. Williams said that?
Yes.
I see. You lucky I know your voice because it did not come up. Exactly. About 3 times. About 3 times. But what is happening is that on average, we're spending about 5 times or more of income on a home purchase. And I would go so far as to say you shouldn't even include both incomes on that home purchase. So if and the sad part is that they may not, like this person may be making 60,000, but they can't find a nice home in the neighborhood that they want for 180 because the average house cost is like over 250,000, I think, in the
Yep,
US,
that's right.
right?
Yep, I was
That's right.
thinking that you might can't afford that, but if you're trying to get something decent, you're gonna have to pay more. It
Yeah,
depends on the market. If it's in
yeah.
demand, then you are gonna pay more.
Exactly. So what happens is that means that we need to make a commitment to saving more of our
Mhm.
money so that you're only financing the amount that you should. So if you want a $250,000 house, but you know that you should only finance 3 times, then your down payment needs to be based on you, not on your lender's criteria. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it might take a little bit longer, but you're walking into that house with equity. You save that $50,000 down payment, you're walking in with equity, you're walking in with ownership, and you're only financing, a small amount, and you're building wealth immediately. And hopefully the value of it will continue to go forward from there. We are talking, that's right. So we're talking about 5 million households severely burdened, paying over half of their income for housing. Mm, that's a challenge. And then that's given. This is some information from the Harvard study. White owners aged 65 and over were wealthier on average because they hold a smaller share of their assets in home equity than Hispanics and or other non-whites. With most of the wealth tied up in their homes for many minorities and low-income households had few liquid assets to tap quickly in an emergency. They read us right there, right? They read us right there. Because we're participating in these plans that they're getting us in because the government has every benefit in the world to get you in a house with a minimum down. Do you see this? Do you see this? Because who is the lender? Who is the lender?
FHA,
The government.
Freddie
who
Mac,
who gets
Fannie.
the property taxes?
Oh
Government.
yeah, government.
Who
Government.
gets the interest?
Mm.
The government.
Government. Yeah.
Who gets the mortgage insurance that is charged so you have to pay a higher rate because
That
you have a
PMI.
exactly who?
Hmm.
The lender,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
government. So they're covered. Look, check this out. Who gets your house when you miss the payment?
The government, the bank.
The bank.
The government.
Hmm.
Because the bank is backed by the government.
Government.
That's not, you know what I'm saying? The bank is just a broker. That's it. That bank money that bank put into that house is backed by the government. You are helping the government.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so when we are going in that with all of our wealth tied up in that house, when we went through 2007, 2008, and it was a what? Mortgage crisis,
Mhm.
who does it impact the most? The person who had no money down, The least, and look, and how all of their wealth, what does it say? White owners are wealthy on average. They hold a smaller share of their assets in home equity.
Hmm.
Woo! Have I not been telling y'all this? We have to be investing our money. We have to. We have to. What is the percent, with the small percentage of people that we represent in investment conscious Black folk, it's the same percentages they see in this study of, because the majority, even now, even, when I'm talking with you and you feel very comfortable with putting every dime of your money into real estate, even though if I suggested an investment that lost money for you every year, you would call me a loser. Would you?
Well, maybe not to your face. We'd have to have a
Or you
conversation.
hide it? You know what I'm saying? Like, how
Yeah,
are
we
you
don't have to have a
lying?
conversation though.
You know what I'm saying? I would be 25 years in business, like constantly, consistently. And I'd be like, well, at least you get to write it off, and we get excited about it. And it is pulling down the wealth of our community. Mm. So in 2016, 46% of homeowners aged 65 to 79 had mortgage debt with an average balance of 77,000. 46% of homeowners 65 to 79. So now that's probably even higher. That's 2016. 26% of homeowners aged 80 and over had mortgages. 80 and over. Wow. From the years 2007 to 2016, the share of households in their 80s with over mortgage debt. Oh, the share of households in their 80s and over with mortgage debt jumped by 16 percentage points. The total debt burden for Americans over age 70 increased at 534%. I was telling you about. That's over $1 trillion, 70 and over. But that's kind of amazing, y'all, right? 80 and over. So that's why, when I'm speaking with someone and, it's obvious that they could get more liquidity with a 30-year loan, it doesn't even matter. I go, it doesn't matter to the lender your age. They don't care because they're backed by what? The property.
Government.
Yeah, exactly. The government, right? Yeah. And the property. They got the collateral. So it's not about you. So you have to do the loan that offers you the best rate and the best liquidity. So if I'm trying to get your liquidity, I'm trying to, stop you from having to spend half of your income on that mortgage or half of your social security check on that mortgage, and we can refinance and get the mortgage cut in half. That's something to seriously consider, right, Ms. Davis?
Yes.
That's something to seriously consider. It's not the fact that I'll be 120 when that gets paid off. It don't matter. That's not your problem. As long as you have housing that is affordable for the rest of your life, that's what we have to focus on, because the fact is, I want it paid off before you stop working. And we have to set that as a goal. We have to set that as a goal. Or what? You can't stop working. That's the JB Bryan financial group rule. We'd be like 90 and everything working. They'd be like, well, why are you still working? You got 10,000 a week in income. Well, I still have mortgage. But I think, Kimberly, that the older that we get, the more joy you really do get out of your work.
Mhm.
You know, I have never enjoyed my work more than I enjoy it now. So I do feel that we don't save enough while we're working. We're not encouraged to save enough, and that we buy too much of the wrong thing. And I think that this work here, what we're doing, should be a wake up call for everybody that's listening to this. That if you do not want to be in your 70s and 80s with a mortgage, then you need to change what you're doing right now. You need to be investing. You need to be talking to me aggressively about how you can put more in your work plan and how that work plan is allocated and how you're going to make sure you get rid of your debt now. Because you could save more if you had less that you had to give to Mr. Credit Card.
You know what, JB? There's a lot of liberty in not having a mortgage. I look at my grandmother when she was alive, how their house was paid for,
Mm,
and when my grandfather died, she didn't have a mortgage. She didn't have
mm,
recurring debt. Everything was paid off every month, and the
mm.
liberty that gave her to travel and do what she wanted to do when she wanted to do, man,
That's right.
and not have to
Ex-
worry about, well, I can't go nowhere this month because I got this mortgage.
That's right.
I would love to be
That's
able to be in
right.
that position.
And you see more and more wealthy people who are older and going into apartments. If
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got $1 million
Mhm.
working for you and you've got $1,500 for your apartment rent, and you got a beautiful scenery and a pool and a community and you feel safe and it's gated and all of this stuff. I mean, seriously? But but if you have everything tied up in your house, like what's happening with us, you can't view things that way. You're because you haven't even learned how you can have these assets over here that will pay you out money and they will pay for you to live wherever you want
Mhm.
when you've only paid for your house. Like I'm saying, pay off your house, get the right house. Don't buy all the house in the world. Get the right house. You know what I'm saying? And invest the rest. Or don't buy the house. Invest the rest. What if we made a commitment to invest as much as you pay into the mortgage? What if you did that? Like, or invest at least half, or especially for the renters, if like that, if you had such and such a house, say you had a $400,000 house, what would your payment be? What would the maintenance be? What would the estimates be? And I've seen a study this man did. He lived in New York, and him and his wife said, we're not going to buy a house, we're going to rent, but we're going to invest the difference. And when they compared it to what the residential property would have done, and they actually invest in the market, they extremely outperformed during their time period, by investing the difference. But the key there is that people don't do it. So it takes the discipline of, you have to be investing all the time, investing in your business, investing in your in the funds at work, investing in, but being investing in something that is asset that is going to grow and appreciate and create income for you down the road. And it will also be able to, take care of those maintenance expenses. So if you get to a point where your house is 40 years old, but you didn't buy the biggest house in the world, so you've been saving all along, getting the new roof is not a problem for you. All you want to do is make sure you don't get a crook. That's your biggest problem because you have the money invested. You go, oh, JB, sell off so and so. I need $20,000. Boom, boom, boom. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. But you have to have that money set aside. So it's all about lifestyle. Do you see what I'm saying? It's all about lifestyle and lifestyle choices. That's how our senior years will be decided, by your health choices. Your where you decide to live choices, how you decide to save, where you decide, where you decide where your treasures lie will decide how you live later in life, what you do now.
Can I say something?
Please.
I made a lot of bad choices based on other people's situations, right?
That's
I let
right.
their issues become my problems. So now I'm like, I'm not even behind the 8 ball. I'm behind the 18 times whatever ball right now. So it's almost, I'm literally starting over from scratch
That's right.
because I took other people's problems and made their issues and made it my problem.
Are you over 60?
I'm 54.
Oh, wow, you're young.
Right. But I'm
Yeah.
at the point where I got laid off because of the pandemic. I had just started working for 6 weeks and then everything shut down again. So I have to recreate myself to say, okay, I got to get multiple streams of income. I'm meeting
Yeah.
with you. We're going to have our talk in a couple of weeks. I'm so
Oh,
excited. I
good.
can't wait for that
Good.
because
But
I
that's
have
what
two.
that's what Afroeconomics
Right.
is
So
all
like
about.
I'm literally starting over. I have everything in my head that I want to do, but the
Yep.
discipline part of it and being able to say now I can start saying no to people. Like I
That's
have to
right.
like shut off when I hear them say
That's right.
some issue, and all I can say, well, I hope it works out.
That's right.
I had to stop jumping in and trying to be the savior, throwing that life preserver. Because I'm like, I'm throwing this life preserver, but I have nothing for myself.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I think
Crazy
that
self,
I think
you know.
but I'm gonna tell you one thing, that it doesn't matter. You are always gonna have everything that you need. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's the pot runneth over for you. You
yeah,
know, people like that, like, and I'm the same type of person. It never runs out. You just need to always remember it never runs out. See, when we get afraid and we think, I gotta stop doing that because it's gonna run out, it's not gonna ever run out.
right.
And
I'm
then
blessed that my
you know
mother,
how we make sure it never runs out?
right.
You never stop working.
Yeah, right,
look,
exactly.
look, but you just keep being productive and you
Mhm.
keep helping people, and
Yeah,
after a while, your full repellent will catch on,
right,
and they
right.
won't even ask you no more.
Right. I'm blessed
They
with my mother
won't even
leaving us
ask
a
you no.
house. So
They'll be
I
like, they
have my
won't even
mother's
tell
house
you the
too.
story.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
They'll be like, she is so powerful. They won't mess with you. I would use a different word, but let's just say mess. They will not
Mhm.
they will not mess with you anymore.
Yes, I don't stop my service. I never stop serving. That's one
That's
thing I
right.
never stop doing. I
That's
always
right.
do that.
Because you're
Right.
gonna keep getting it, keep giving, and he's gonna keep giving, and you're gonna
Right.
keep giving, and it's gonna keep receiving, and then just help, and then just
Right.
direct better, direct your
Yeah.
choices. But that's beautiful. And don't you worry, we're gonna build through that.
Oh
We're gonna
yes.
build through that. And I think that
Yeah.
networking and being in positive environments and hearing these things and talking through these things and learning to take responsibility, because gentrification cannot happen when we are financially healthy as a people.
That's
You
right.
cannot come into my neighborhood and out tax me when I've been doing the right thing with my money. You can't do it. You can't, we have to get back to where we were smart and overconscious and over savers, and not depending on the system for our existence. Now we've kind of adopted this crutch and this dependence that the government will make it right. They'll catch it up. They won't let this happen. Well, there's a lot of other people who are concerned now, and you are successful, and you have to carry yourself accordingly. Nobody is feeling sorry for a Black successful person.
Not
So
at
we
all.
isn't that the truth though? So we have to be fully responsible for everything in our future, especially as you age. You have to have the resources to get the support that you need. And Scary as the thought is of being broke and old, it's the thought of, not doing anything about it has to be even scarier, because we are very likely to grow old and be poor no matter how hard we work, unless we make a commitment to making very wise choices of not getting into the red bottoms, not getting into, what type of clothes and what and very extravagant vacations, and buying every timeshare that comes available to us. We have to hold on to our futures for dear life, knowing that anything could come along. Look at this. We have survived. We are going through a pandemic. Anything can come along and change things for us. Yes. Yes, indeed. Ms. Shabazz says we have to go back to being a real community, trusting and looking out for each other, pooling our resources. Yes, yes, and yes. I made a post on Facebook and I said we should boycott voting until Congress decides that they're going to take care of these people in the middle of this pandemic who are going to be homeless in a minute. These people have no money. There are millions of people out of work, and it's amazing how nobody seems to care. These people were getting $600 a week. Now they're getting nothing. Like, but that's a community. Of course, all of the responses that I got were like, "Oh, how can you can't say that? That's the wrong approach. This is horrible." All I'm saying is, like, we're not gonna not vote, but I'm saying that somebody needs to put the fear of maybe they won't get a check,
Right.
because they're getting paid and they're eating and they can't come to an agreement because they've decided that they want to make people miserable, and maybe miserable people will vote. But you're using our least empowered people as your pawn. This is horrible. So you're using this. If this were a capital gains tax issue, they'd get it solved. If there was a rich man, like I remember that time with Tom Brady, they were trying to decide if Tom Brady was going to play in the football game. I think it went all the way to the Supreme Court in like 2 weeks. I'm I'm like, so we can decide something like that, but y'all can't just decide on, people eating, kids having housing. Oh, it's sick. So with that in mind, it lets me know how much self-responsibility we have to have, how important it is for us to get involved. Like, everybody who's listening to my voice should be a free member of AfroEconomics. You have absolutely nothing to lose, nothing to lose. But I'm trying to develop a voice where I can say, okay, we have 1,000 Black people who are about this particular cause. Like, we feel that you need to make an agreement. Like, but we need numbers, and it's free. You have nothing to give up, but everything to give up. This is our movement. If we want to change minimum wage and have a livable wage, what better than our group to start pushing that? We should have a livable wage. Too many people, millions of people are living in poverty. How selfish of us to act like, oh, well, it doesn't matter to me. I don't make minimum wage. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should get a livable wage. The moratorium on rent and mortgages will soon end, and we are going to witness a lot of evictions because many people are out of work and are not going to be able to catch up. Exactly. Ooh, Ms. Muhammad. Exactly.
Can I add one thing to this discussion? I was looking over during the pandemic about Tulsa and the Black Wall Street and how this whole thing began from its inception to when they actually burned us out. firebombed us out. And it's almost like we have to have a resurgence in that in different cities around the country in order to encapsulate or gather together all the wealth that we actually have. Like you said, 50 people on this tonight. So
Yes.
we're
Over.
living in different cities.
Over 50.
Each city,
Yes.
all your members, we should be like creating these Black Wall Streets in Brooklyn, New York, in Baltimore, Maryland, in Virginia, in Detroit,
Mhm. Mhm.
wherever we're living, and
Mm.
start that with people who are artists and designers and people who are blacksmiths and writers
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
architects. And we need to
Mm.
rebuild that kind of format. Our Black
Mm.
banks in our communities
Mm.
start. Me and my daughter started
That's
actually.
right.
We just went and opened up an account. She thought about it. The same thing I was thinking. I was like, okay, let's get up and go. She's like, I didn't get paid yet. I'm like, I'll take the money. Let's open up the
Mm.
account. We have to really get back in that mindset when
That's
we see
right.
a Black-owned business, promote them. Like you said, Black bottoms. Why we can't have a designer who has green bottoms, who's from our
That's right.
community, and
That's
support
right.
them?
That's right.
They
And
make
then
the handbags, the Louis
and then
Vuitton. No,
the
I'm gonna
truth
tell
of the
you like
matter
this.
is
Right,
we don't have to do anything. We
Mhm.
don't have to buy anything.
Right.
We don't have to, we just need to be together.
Conscious
It's
and
just, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That's why I was saying I have the free membership. Because if a person doesn't have the money, they still deserve to be a part of this. They still can come to the members only events. They just don't do the individual planning yet. But there's a high correlation between getting the free membership, getting focused on your money, and then all of a sudden you can start doing financial planning before you know it. But I
right.
think that we have to rise our consciousness. But the first thing for us to do is to just be together.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, like I was thinking about my dad, and I was thinking about, when I think about my fiance, like the greatest part of him and the greatest part of my father is that they were always there, just there. And then that is
Mm.
so important, what I'm saying? And that's what we need
Right,
to know,
right.
that we are there for each other.
True.
You know what I'm
Very
saying?
true.
Like, that's why, I mean, that is because you should never feel like, I have this, who should I talk to? That's what AfroEconomics is for. I don't even care what
Mm,
it is, what it's
mm.
about. That's how we help each other. Sometimes I'm having a whole discussion about what nutrition or giving, we're talking about something because your health is so connected to your wealth. There's
Mhm.
really nothing, Afroeconomics is a lifestyle, and there's nothing that we can't help each other through. Even as we were discussing about music and everything. But let's just, as Ms. Muhammad was saying, we just need to be together. And I
Yes.
think that it's been like such a connection of like, you gotta cash at me here. Even our ministers, you know what I mean? Everybody feel, you know, I used to feel afraid to go to church when I didn't have any money. You know, we shouldn't feel like that.
That's true.
You shouldn't feel like that. Like,
Yeah.
you should, why can't you just be there? Why can't we just be here? Why is everything PayPal this, pay this, and buy that? No. Yes, we do. But let's just first be there for each other. Let's support one another. Let's empower each other. Let's, share information freely with one another. All have something that we can contribute to each other's life. We just have decided to not share all that you have to share with each other, but you have so much, so much. So your powerful information is so much more powerful than, $5, or whatever. Money is probably the least of what we need in our community. You know, what
Hmm.
we need is support, resource, connections, opportunity. You know what I'm saying? The money will come, but we got to have those things first. You just give me money and you just solve my problems for one day.
Yep.
You give me an opportunity and you can change my whole life. So everybody keeps just giving us money because they don't want to give us an opportunity.
Ooh, you said a lot right there.
It's true though. You right? And we
Yeah,
got to
that's good.
stop settling for the short game. Well, y'all have a wonderful night. Let me know if you need anything from me. jb@jbbryan.com. And Pat and Janiyah will make sure that we get connected. It's about financial empowerment. This is our movement and my life's commitment. I'm giving you my lifetime guarantee that I will give you my best for as
I
long
can't
as I
wait to speak to you. I can't wait.
thank you. Thank you. I see you, Miss Hodge.
Thank you.
We're gonna call you Shotgun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Good
I
night,
love y'all.
everybody.
Love you too.
Bye.
Love you.
Right. All right. Mm-mm-mm. I love it. Mm. Mm.